Giyu is the 4th DLC character in Demon Slayer 2, and he's the 4th DLC to be an absolute guard skill merchant. Will CyberConnect 2 be able to make a DP that's unsafe? Find out by the end of this season pass. Well, to be fair, they did just shadow nerf Infinity Castle Zenitsu. His DP is actually unsafe now. You don't have to play rock, paper, scissors around it anymore. But today is going to be all about Infinity Castle Giyu, what his moves are, what his game plan is, and how good of an addition is this character to Demon Slayer Hinokami Chronicles 2. Starting with his stats, I think the devs are giving us a little nod to Giyu's relationship with Sabito by making him the 2nd character to have a 105 defense multiplier. Only he and Sabito have this value. And he's also got a level 2 dash speed, but just like the previous DLC Infinity Castle Tanjiro, once he boosts or surges, his dash speed increases to level 3. Probably to reflect him finally awakening his Slayer mark, even though he only gets the Slayer mark in Surge. I think that was a cool gimmick when Tanjiro got it. Seeing Giyu get it now feels a bit like copying your own homework, which is like, fair enough, you're the one who did it in the first place, but I'm not gonna act impressed for seeing you pull the same trick twice in a row, especially when he's missing all of those cool Tanjiro effects. But speaking of effects, let's talk about his normal attacks. Because yes, they absolutely gave him a ton of water effects on all of his normals, even before you boost or surge, so he is yet again another very noisy character. I like his jumping attacks at least. They hit very close to the ground and are super fast, unlike the previous Giyu who spent an eternity in the air. The dive is pretty standard. It starts a red combo as usual. His heavy attack is very similar to the previous Giyu animation-wise, but it seems a lot faster than before. His grab, on the other hand, feels pretty bad. It is slow, doesn't have a lot of reach, it doesn't work after any of his skills, it just always misses. It's probably the weakest part of his normals kit. Finally, when he boosts his cinematic combo finisher, it looks like this. That's it for normals, let's talk about his skills. Giyu has a long-range stab on his neutral skill, a long-range dash attack on his tilt skill, and a new dead calm on his guard skill that's kinda like Muichiro's counter. So, let's break them all down. First up, 7th form, Drop Ripple Thrust is a long-range stab that lets you pressure an opponent from afar. It's the perfect button to press after a push block, or even to safely fish for a hit on an opponent you're not sure is trying to parry you, so you poke them from a safe distance. It's really good for that because it gives you a free combo on hit. If you do it on the ground, it will even crumple the opponent, but only if done in neutral. If you do it in a combo, it actually pops them up. It still gives you a free combo though, it's just not as good as a crumple. If the opponent blocks it, even if you're right in their face, this is safe, which is why it makes for such a good neutral poking tool. It's not broken, however, because it's not plus on block. It doesn't put the opponent in any crazy pressure situation because it doesn't deal a ton of guard damage. They can always take their turn afterwards, so it is a pretty safe tool to use, a good button, but also balanced in my opinion. Tilt skill is the 3rd form Flowing Dance, where Giyu is gonna slash you a bunch of times automatically. You don't have to mash the button. In fact, you can't even cancel this move until it is over. If you press the button and hit the opponent, he's gonna do his whole thing. And it's pretty hard to miss the opponent because of how good the tracking is and how far it travels. It's definitely a good tool to fish for an opponent from long range, especially because, once again, you get the combo for free if you hit the opponent. That said, if they block this move, you are not safe, unless you jump cancel away, which you can only do at the very end of this move, but that's an extra bar you're spending just to not get punished. So if you're gonna use this move, in my opinion, you better have an assist ready to back you up. Or to switch over to that character, as this can be a very oppressive move to throw out and just tag. And speaking of oppressive, here's another dead calm. Yes, Giyu is gonna put up the bubble again, and if he gets attacked, he will trigger a counter attack. It also crumples the opponent, similar to his existing dead calm, but this one has an extra layer because you can trigger it without being attacked, and it will do this whirlpool instead. That is why this is very similar to Muichiro's counter. You can wait for the attack and get this counter attack, which leads to really good damage, or you can just pull the trigger yourself, baiting the opponent, and you can really delay this follow-up. This can throw people off for sure. The best part? This is safe on block. Now, a push block can punish you, but you can also spend an extra bar of meter to just make it safe. Yes, even if the opponent blocks, you can simply air dash out of there. Expensive? Yes, but it's an armored move that is safe on block. That is incredibly strong. But is he also strong as an assist? Let's find out. His neutral assist is, as expected, his neutral skill, but it does not cause a crumple. Instead, it knocks the opponent up just like it does when you use it in a combo. Honestly, it is not my favorite. His tilt skill, however, has some potential because if it catches the opponent, they're gonna get hit for a while, or they're gonna be blocking for a while, which gives you time for some free guard breaks or grabs. But for that to happen, it does need to hit first, and the assist can have some tracking problems, and it is really bad at catching jumping opponents too. So I would say as an assist, he's gonna require some specific setups to really shine, but it doesn't really feel like a strong pick right off the gate. With that said, let's finish this moveset with his ultimates. This Giyu comes with 3 ultimates. The first one is brand new and it's the one you saw at the start of the video. The activation feels really bad though. It has no range at all, but it still works with most of his skills if you're trying to combo into it, and the full animation looks like this. His second ultimate is one that was already in the game, so while it might not be new, you might prefer this one because the activation travels further. There are some combo routes where this one actually drops, but as far as I know, they're not the main combo routes, so you're probably gonna be fine. This character also comes with a dual ultimate with Infinity Castle Tanjiro, with whom he shares a unique victory screen with, by the way. If you have both DLC and you pair them up together for 2 bars a meter, you may get this animation. Let's talk combos. I'm not sure what his best 2-bar combo is, so I'll give you both of them. This one's very good because it ends with a full down combo building a ton of meter, and even though it spends 2 bars, you almost build a full bar back by the end of this combo. On the other hand, this one deals a bit more damage, but you don't generate as much meter, so I think it's down to what you need the most in that moment. Both combos only need 2 bars a meter though, so if you can't make up your mind, just pick one, you'll be fine. For 3 bars, you can push the damage up a little bit. There is a tricky delay before the guard skill that takes a while to get used to, so I wouldn't try it before practicing, and I would not try it in heavy lag situations. Speaking of guard skill, if you do land a counter attack, this is the best combo I found for only 3 bars of meter. If you want to throw an ultimate at the end, this is a similar combo to the 3-bar combo, but it ends with the neutral skill instead of the guard skill. And if you really want to spend all 5 bars a meter, I think this is probably how you get the most damage outside of just starting a combo with jumping attacks. Giyu's game plan seems pretty simple. He's more of a defensive character. He likes to keep his distance with his neutral skill, trying to start something from a safe distance. If you get too close, his guard skill is going to start shining a lot more. This is the button that makes this character. Just make sure you always have 2 bars of meter before you use it, because you need that second bar to escape if your guard skill gets blocked. Also, using it recklessly will simply whiff the attack, and a whiffed whirlpool cannot be cancelled. That's how you actually punish this move. Just move out of the way, wait for them to whiff it, and then punish. But if you've ever played Muichiro, I'm sure you can already see the value of a move like this. The counterattack itself is incredible for denying assist pressure into heavy attacks. That type of game plan becomes very easy to counter. And on top of that, there's the mix-up of whether you're gonna pull the trigger or not and do the follow-up. Tilt skill ends up being the most situational move in his kit. Because it's unsafe on block, it's usually paired with an assist, but it's great for getting those final guaranteed hits. Let's say you just landed a combo and the opponent is 1 hit away from dying, you can use tilt skill on their wake up from afar and tag in your next character. This is going to give you a ton of time to just finish them off. They either parry Giyu or they are cooked. And if they parry him, your next character is far away and very safe. But this is definitely not the aggressive type character that's going to force their way in with a ton of armor like the previous 3 DLC feel like. This one likes to play it a bit more defensively, a bit safer, and he definitely does not feel super broken right away. He can play the game, he has his strengths, but you gotta be mindful when using his abilities. And now that we've broken down this character, let's wrap things up with my review. If I had to sum up this character, I'd say gameplay-wise, he's a better Muichiro. Compared to him, he loses that big lunge that's plus on blocking neutral, but he trades that for a safe guard skill. Plus, he can still play neutral with a long-range poke. Giyu feels like a balanced character, which is a first in this season pass, but also he feels a bit boring to me. Don't get me wrong, his kit is well balanced, though I would say most of this feels very familiar. I feel like this review was very easy to make because all of his skills are things that we've seen in other characters before. That means that nothing Giyu brings to the game is new, and perhaps that's why it feels a bit underwhelming to me. The biggest offender is probably Dead Calm. I mean, the previous Giyu already had Dead Calm, so not making something new here feels like a cop-out. I mean, sure, he uses Dead Calm a lot in the movie. I get why they gave him this, but the way you interpret Dead Calm, the way you interpret the move, didn't have to be so close to what we already have. It didn't need to be another counterattack. You could get a bit more creative. And on the fan service side of things, I think they have a bunch of stuff that feels pretty mid for this game. CyberConnect 2 is great at animation, so a mid animation in this game is still better than most games. You know, credit where it's due. This studio is incredible at animating stuff, but compared to other Ultimates, this one is just okay. The Team Ultimate is also fine, and maybe that's just the water breather syndrome. None of this feels as hype as the Muzan animations or Infinity Castle Tanjiro, and so it also let me down a little bit on that side of things too. I really hope they don't take the wrong feedback from this though. I think the one good thing to come out of this DLC is that they made a more defensive character. Even if it's another guard skill merchant, his playstyle is significantly different from the previous characters. I don't think he feels weak at all if you want to play him in ranked or tournaments. I just don't think he feels new, which to me is more important. New DLC should bring a breath of fresh air to the game. It should give you a new playstyle, it should give you some new gimmicks or abilities that you haven't seen before in this context. And I think Giyu fails on all of those departments. But of course, that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear what you think of the DLC in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye.